Welcome back to Lawn Rush. So it finally happened. My salt spreader froze up and I had to shovel it out. It was not the best experience. So here's a look at the salt. It's in my shop right now. It's right here. I'm trying to get a picture of it before the kid gets in it. And he's been having a lot of fun playing excavators and stuff on the salt. Basically, our little excavator, it's a cheap little Chinese made excavator. The only downside with their little excavator is the batteries aren't that good, so we actually just upgraded the batteries to a Milwaukee battery. And yeah, so we've been playing in this salt all day yesterday. But what happened is I had to shovel out the spreader and it was frozen, guys. The whole spreader was like a rock. And what happened is we loaded the salt spreader in real cold weather. Like, it was like 5 degrees outside. And when I got it loaded, by the time I made it to the next property, it was like not spreading good. So this stuff was freezing on contact. I probably should have threw the tarp on it. I just ran without the tarp. I don't know. It just seemed to just freeze up right away, and I kept having to vibrate a lot more than usual. And then the next day, because I only had one more property, and I usually you have to get the ton. So I got the ton, but I only had one more property, and it needed like less. It needed very little. I just needed to get a ton because that's all they really offer. So I get to the property, I finish it. By the next morning, this thing is like a rock. Like, it froze up. I guess because it's so fine that it just, for whatever reason, didn't last a very long time. So, unfortunately, my boy, he's going to lose his little fun pile that he plays in. We've been scooping salt with the excavators. But I'm going to shovel this back into the spreader. I put a fan near it, and you could tell that it was moist. Hold on, boy. You can tell that this stuff was kind of moist just by like what it leaves on the concrete. Like, as it sits here on the concrete, it makes the concrete look kind of wet. But I put a fan on the salt overnight, just blowing on the salt. So that probably helped a little. And plus, we have the heater in here. There's a heater up in there in the ceiling. And this is kind of where we hang out and watch movies and stuff. But there's a heater up there in the ceiling, and that's pumping at 70 degrees right now. And it's just hot and dry in here. And hopefully drying this stuff out. So the temperatures are not going to be into the freezing temperatures again until like the next night. And I want to get this loaded because it's going to rain for a couple of days. So I want this to be loaded before it rains. I want it to be dry. I want everything to be dry. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our temperature to like 55 in here, because it's not going to hold the 70. It's only going to hold the 50. It's not going to be able to keep that temperature once I open the door. So Alexa, set my temperature to 55.
Okay, here's Ecobee Plus.
It's going to make me
Temperature.
55.
Sure thing.
It makes me say it twice. I don't know. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to open this door, and we're going to put all this salt into the truck, which is on the other side of the door. So here we go. Oh. I know. Maybe that's the one we'll keep for you to play. And we can pour it out and you can play in it. So yeah. So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like for me to load this, because I've heard some questions that, how do you load salt? Like, you could have bags and you can have a tailgate spreader, or you could just load your salt by hand like this instead of lifting up a bag. If you had a pile of salt in your garage, you could shovel it right into the spreader. So let me set the camera up and show you guys how that looks. All right, guys, so this is how it looks shoveling in. So this is an alternative to a tailgate spreader. You could actually just store your salt just on the ground inside of a garage. I think a lot of guys are in this situation where they would be just putting it in the garage. Another thing that's cool is you can mix in a little calcium chloride you can mix in a little calcium chloride into your salt, and it improves the power of the salt quite a bit, actually. So when you take a little handful of this, you can see that there's a little bit of little white pebbles in there from the calcium chloride. It actually does. I mean, like, it makes a big difference. Like, this stuff hits the ground in cold weather, and you can see that it's starting to activate. It's starting to melt a lot quicker. And basically, you take it, and I might have to move this up a bit. Maybe I'll take a step back, and I'll just go like this. Oh! And you can't get a full scoop, but about 2 or 3 scoops, and you're talking like 50-pound bag. It's just about getting that rhythm. Oh, one more thing you could do to make this easier, excuse me, is you can get a stool. I think get a little stool, and if you take a step here on the stool, that might help make it so you're taller. See here, if I place the stool like this, kind of step up. See how that works. I could also pull my truck up. You can I might have to play with this a little. I'll move my truck up a bit. Let's see how that works. Watch out, Nate. No. Put it back. No, I need to get on that. Excuse me. Let me get on that. All right. And then, yeah, take a quick step up. And it's most certainly a workout. And hey, exercise is good for us at the end of the day. It's like people go to the gym, and for me, this is my gym. A little bit of work. A little hard work never hurt nobody. Good. So it's a little bit harder, but that's good. So yeah, when this froze up on me, basically, I got up in the truck with this. This is what I used to. Yeah, you want to run a dump truck? This is what I used to bust it up. So I basically just got in there and just kind of, not real crazy. You could break that poly, but just kind of tapped it around and shocked it, and it became exactly how it was. Ready? My boy ready to play with this. And basically, guys, it's got a Milwaukee battery wired into it. All right, drive it.
I want to see. I want to help you.
And it's all about patience. It's going to take some time to get this going. And if it gets heavy, I'll take a smaller bite, but it's okay. Little clump there, breaking up pretty easy. Salt's not bad product. It's just I kind of learning as I go. I'm learning that, hey, if it's gonna be freaking that cold, if it's gonna be that cold when I load this, I need to be thinking about things like that. Normally, I get loaded, and I could have gotten loaded earlier when it wasn't quite as cold. And I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's not, like I said, I don't recommend anybody leave salt in their spreader just because it is risky. And as you see, sometimes you have to pay the price. And that's what I'm doing today. Paying the price. But this pile's getting worked down pretty quick. But anyway, I guess I'll pause this video and touch base with you guys once this is almost done. Alright guys, so that's it. It took me maybe 35 minutes to load that up. I know that's not ideal situation, but things happen. So as I talk about loading your spreader and preloading your spreader, I am still learning as I go. As far as I'm concerned, it's still something that can be done. I've gotten away with it all season up until we got down to like 4 or 5 degrees, and I was actually getting loaded at that time. I was able to survive those low temperatures, but I wasn't actually loading the material at that time. And then the type of load that I got was a little bit different. I mean, the material was just different. It was just way finer, way different. But this is how it looks in the truck, loaded up. Yeah, all loaded by hand. Not ideal, but again, not the end of the world. I still think it's easier than bags, but give me a second and I'll pick you up. I still think it's easier than bags, but yeah, that's it and that's that. So there's definitely a risk. I'm not recommending anyone preload their spreaders and leave them overnight. This one is now preloaded and will be loaded overnight, over a couple of nights, as we prepare for this big snowstorm here in Michigan. We're gonna get quite a few inches of accumulation, but we're not gonna get down into those freezing temperatures to where salt will freeze. We'll hit 20, but we won't really hit 5 degrees or anything crazy like that. But the reason I loaded early and got it preloaded is because we're gonna get rain. We're gonna get so much rain that I'm not going to be able to load this spreader in the rain and not get all that moisture into the hopper. So I wanted to have this out of my garage, done and loaded, so that I could not have to be trying to load this in the rain. And I'm going to tarp it up, and then it'll stay dry until the snowfall, and I'm probably going to run through this stuff. But anyway, this is Lawn Rush. See you guys in the next video. Over and out.